Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weekends. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. It's Lullaby.
This is Wales only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all's deep. Everybody. My God. Hex Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. Testing was good, fam. Happy Friday to all. Hope everybody's having a good one so far. And if they're just getting started, I hope it's a good one. We're gonna take it back to some basics, Clearly people don't like looking back. I guess they are too good to do a little research. So let's redo what's been done and help people understand why earning yield while you hold is pretty cool. I mean, I really can't believe I'm about to do this type of stream again. I mean, I feel really retarded, but I guess it is what it is. People, I don't know, can't do math or can't think past their noses and shit like that. And that's okay. What's up, homie?
What's up, Big Dad? How you feeling, man?
I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling.
Back to basics tonight, huh?
Yeah, man. Gotta help people understand that, 2 squared is better than 2. And, 4 squared is better than 2. And,
I'm working on it, man.
Like
I still have this big old fat bag of this liquid hex. I'm trying to figure out what to do with. I mean, I was thinking about taking a modest position in an up-and-coming stable, but it remains to be seen. Not dissing anyway.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people try to come off as if they're smarter or whatever, and the message is really simple.
Reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this shit is real simple. There's nothing to be slick about here. It's fucking straightforward. We want more coin while we wait for the gains. Period. What the fuck is so hard about that? I don't understand. And then the thing is that on top of that, we're not talking about waiting for 2-3 years, man. We're talking about waiting for 5, 10, 15. We talking about.
I think right there you just hit it. That's the rub, man. Yeah. This is not a personality trait or a characteristic that the OCD generations or maybe ADHD generations are noted for. Is calm, focused, attentive
Look,
patience.
bro, I don't buy into that because when I was growing up, one of the first things I ever got given to me was a fucking Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? And I just
Mm,
didn't. It wasn't my speed. It's just not the type of shit. I was an outside type of cat.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know, bro. And a lot of cats were like me. A lot of cats weren't. It's just how
Well,
shit.
anybody who watches my material knows that if I say a term like ADHD, I say so quite tongue in cheek.
Oh, right, right. Yeah. I don't believe in that. I think that's
No,
complete
no, not
hogwash.
at all.
Yeah, that's hard. Because if that's the case, well, I definitely got it still. Because I be bored as fuck. I be dozing off at work. Like I ain't got shit to do.
Well, yeah, I was going to say not to fork off on a tangent too hard, but when I've had to cross this Rubicon with teachers and my children, I just look them dead in the eye and I say, "Are you challenging this child? Is this
Right.
child being intellectually, or more importantly, creatively stimulated in
Correct.
any way whatsoever?"
And
I
we
mean,
know the answers always
no, it's
no.
let's get a fucking assembly line of good little automatons going here.
Yeah. He's not. He's not fucking bending over when we say bend over. What the fuck is going on here?
Oh, I'm so proud of my kids, man. I'm so proud, man. They
Oh
ain't
my
taking it.
god. But that's what it's about, man. You got to teach them to defend themselves. That's it. And this is kind of what we're trying to do when we do these streams, and people, I understand the lack of comprehension, the lack of not having the ability to see the bigger picture. But if you don't understand what 0 to 60,000 means, then there's just no fucking helping you. If you're that impatient that you got to peel a slice of the pie off the pie now when it's only getting baked, well, then have fun throwing up, man. Because that's what you're going to be doing in about 5, 10, 15 years
Bam.
because that's just how it works. Look at all the charts. Look at all the charts. It's just how it works. It's always the same. Just, wash, rinse, repeat. The beginning of every market is always mired with morons that don't comprehend what's going on. It's just the way it is, and this is why you see all of this emotional selling because that's what it is. It's all emotional selling. At the end of the day, you see it often that people that sell their bags, what do they end up doing? Crawling right back every time. Yeah, we're tired of seeing that. So, it is what it is. Copycats, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. If you don't have the ability to understand that this Hex game is a long term game, then say nothing because nobody's saying anything about anything else. Hex is specifically a long term game. Simple. Even those that got rich, they're still missing out on all those Hex coins that they cashed out on in the future. It's simply a fact. Because guess what? This party is just getting started. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do.
It's not very long off. The daily payout on a T-share is going to be like 10 Hex tokens per.
Well, people don't even understand how that happens. They don't get it that with time, that's a guarantee, not a maybe.
I can smell the day when it's 20.
Well, it's already 6.5, and for a long time it was 5.5, and for a long time it was 4.5. And people just forget that because they're not paying attention. They're not watching with an attentive eye. They're just looking at the dollars they can spend, and that's going to be their that's gonna be what does them in. Live by the fiat, die by the fiat.
That's an ignoble steez right there, baby. You don't want that to be your legacy.
Die by the fiat, live by the fiat, die by the fiat, and that's what causes people to make decisions that once they look at the big picture and think long term, they're like, "Yo, what was I?"
Well, speaking of the big picture, Wales, I think pulling out from the chart is a helpful exercise, and that's something you've taught me. You've taught a lot of folks about this, about taking this wider, more macro, more holistic view. Okay, if you're stressing out about a series of candles in a near field term, My God, man, you don't take that to the bank so quickly. Like, pull back on it. And the
Right.
reason I bring it up, you talk about how these cycles go. I don't know if you ever watch. I'm still trying to get you two together. I'm not taking it off the table. He hit me back and he seemed intrigued, but I'm going to get Waters Above and you together someday. I would love to see you two gentlemen on a stream together. But he has these things. I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're like the firmament. Have you ever seen these firmament domes that he
Nah, bro,
draws?
but I
Well,
know
he
already. So,
draws these firmament domes, and they work out on. Look, it looks like an ass or a pair of tits, don't it? Well,
Mhm.
it works out on the chart like that fairly consistently, man. And it's like exactly what you're saying about the
Well,
rhythm.
yeah, the world is a series of fractals. Like I've done umpteen streams on that fact.
It's one big Mandelbrot set, baby.
Yeah, so whatever. Um, at the end of the day, people need to understand this thing that's highlighted on the screen, because this thing that's highlighted on the screen is what determines what this is going to be. And a lot of people dismiss the importance of this number because it's not in fiat terms. And unfortunately for them, all that does is highlight their ignorance. It doesn't actually make them look cool at all because they're not doing the fucking math. Because they don't understand that fiat is something they have to create. They have to drum it up. They got to pull it out of somewhere. It's not going to just make itself like Hex does. Period. Hex makes itself. Fiat, you don't got access to the fiat that the system makes. You don't get to touch that.
You don't put the toner in the printer that goes.
You don't
burr.
do nothing. You don't do nothing. Period. There's no detail to even fucking give.
Right.
Motherfuckers don't have access in a discussion. Unless you're a primary dealer, unless you're a bank that's receiving deposits, that's overseen by the Federal Reserve, you do not have access.
That's nobody
Period.
here.
Period. And if you're here playing fucking crypto gangster, guess what? Your bitch ass ain't in that gang. You're not. So you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's what the fuck that means. And that's what you see in fake crypto. A bunch of motherfuckers that don't know what they're talking about, pretending to. And the problem with that is that they're leading so many astray that don't know any better. That's the problem.
True.
Because guess what? Doesn't affect me at all. Doesn't affect anybody that knows better. It only affects those that don't. And that's the thing that people choose not to respect.
Yeah, I like to think that the zeitgeist is shifting. Maybe I'm just kidding myself because
You
I'm
are.
hopeful, You are, yeah. I like to think people are getting a little bit more street smart, but a lot of people are gullible, man. They're really impressionable.
Yeah, they are very impressionable because the internet is this imaginary place where people don't realize it's really imaginary. They seem to think that there's some virtual reality or some
Wait
shit.
a minute. Are you trying to say that my girlfriend isn't real? Damn,
Pretty
She
much.
said she loved me.
Yeah. That happens, bro.
Fuck.
I remember when I joined the military, a lot of them cats. Yeah. Because they didn't understand. When you're not there, you don't matter, bro.
Yeah.
And it's the same.
Wow, that's potent. That's true, man.
Thing here. And when you're not there, highlighting this USD, because you're not a primary dealer, so you're not there. You do not matter. That's a simple matter of fact. That's not an opinion. Let me go get a loan from the Fed at 5%. Let me go do that. They're going to laugh at me and slam the door in my fucking face like I'm some dumbass. And they're going to do it to you too. Because you are not a primary dealer. Simple. You're not one of those people. You're not one of those entities. And it's that simple.
Entities. So, I like that word better.
Right. So what does that mean? What that means is you need to find some other way to get your shit popping. Because you're not doing it in their system. Their system is set up for you to fail. Right. Yep. And here's the thing. I'm speaking from a strictly access to money perspective. I'm not talking about grinding. I'm not talking about side hustles or nothing like that. So if you already don't got it, well, then you know you got to go get it because you can't just buy Hex with nothing. That's the whole point. The value is given to it by people saying, I want it, so I'm going to swap this thing for that thing. But this thing is going to give me more of that thing that I want. Because that's the whole point. The whole point of this system is the game theory. You know, and I think people forget about that because they get caught up in these X's, but they forget where the real X's come from. You know, the real X's come from making smart long-term decisions, not from flipping the fucking couple coins a couple times. Like that's just not what it is.
Well, therein lies the pivot, I suppose, of tonight's theme. Then,
I mean,
right?
let's put it in. So if you're a female, excuse me, but I'm gonna put it so dudes can understand. You know, and if you're a young dude, you know, teenager and up, you're gonna understand this. Hopefully, you cannot turn a hoe into a housewife.
Damn it!
Yeah. And this is what everybody tries to do with these bootleg coins that serve no purpose.
Yeah.
You know, people
Yeah,
can
no,
hate
man.
on utility all they want and say, people don't like utility, whatever. Yeah, okay. People don't like whatever. But guess what? All the motherfuckers y'all clamoring for to come over here, they actually care about utility. Whoops.
Product market fit might be one of the most helpful. You know,
Well,
like
that's what utility is. Product
yes,
market
sir.
fit. You know, nobody gives a fuck about a goddamn dog or a frog, bro. Period. Like they pets are shit motherfuckers eat. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. That's
Yeah.
as far as it goes. Or they're a fucking meme. You know what I mean? Like they're not money, bro. People don't laugh about their money. I just don't know where people think money became a joke. Like it's not a joke. You know,
I
and
don't think
you
it's a
can have
promotions and
fun.
marketing scheme, man.
No, no,
That's all
no,
that
no.
is. And
That's
if you're not the
fine, but it's not.
founder,
You know, that's fine, but it's not. Because at the end of the day, when that shit breaks and motherfuckers lose their money, it ain't funny. And that's a fact. So it doesn't matter whether it's a dog, frog, a fucking computer, or a fucking triangle, a fucking pentagram, a hexagon. It literally doesn't matter, bro. And this is the problem that people do not, this is the actual issue. You know, people are blinded by a name, a marketing gimmick, not understanding the simple fact that, Hex could be called dog shit. Hex could be called dog shit.
if it do what it do, then it do what it do.
Exactly. It doesn't fucking matter what it's called. What matters is that it's designed how it's designed and it works how it works.
Yesterday on Twitter, I pointed out that you could actually put a tuxedo on a human-sized turd and throw it in the punch bowl. I challenge you to find anybody who wouldn't notice that action.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Tuxedo ain't going to make no difference. That's still a piece of shit.
Correct. I mean, and that's the point, right? That's exactly the point. I mean, you made the same point I just made in a different way.
And well, you and I are buddies, man.
But this is important because the idea is that the vantage point is clear from multiple perspectives. Because what are we doing by pretending that the name matters when what matters here is the actual software technology? That's what matters. The software. You know, nobody cares what the name of the shit is. You know, I frankly have never given a flying fuck. And I've been very adamant about that. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter. What matters is, does it work? Does it serve a purpose? And if the answer to both of those is yes, it's a toss-up. You know, it's a layup. Now, when you just throwing shit out there, throw it out there, well, then it becomes a whole marketing situation, doesn't it? And then at that point, you're really just playing yourself because money isn't a joke. You know, when shit doesn't work, it's not funny. And that's the important thing to understand. So are people riding around trying to be cute, pretending shit is, easy peasy, one, two,
Hmm.
three? Your game better be tight. Because once people know what you look like, that's a whole nother level. Right? And
Got
I
you
don't think
cased out.
yeah, people don't respect that enough. I mean, and we see how these people ended up in body bags. Like, you gotta stop playing yourself. You don't know what people are capable of. This is the internet. You don't know who is looking at you on the other side, just laughing at you, waiting for you to make the wrong move. Because people got nothing but time. People that are evil and are out to get you don't got nothing to do but wait. And a lot of people just don't understand that there are people out here with that type of mind, with that type of time, just for you. Because you think you're somebody when all you're doing is fucking people over.
Hmm.
I mean, karma's real. And you see it happening to crypto people all the time. Don't become a statistic
I mean,
just
look
because you
at
think
look
it's
at
cool.
poor Nick Mushigan for all his good heart DeFi, programming code and ass. He forgot how to swim.
There you
He
go.
forgot how to swim, man. I mean, come on.
hmm Happens, bro. I mean, it's these basic things. People live in this virtual world. You got to remember, reality is outside. It's not behind these screens. It never can be. The only thing that matters from behind the screens is the information you can obtain to then apply to the real world. It's a 1-2 step process. It's not a one-step process, and a lot of people get that fucked up. And that's why they get stuck in these crazy situations when they end up in these. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like, you're just spinning out of control, really.
Mm.
You ain't even thinking straight. You're just making all kinds of crazy decisions. Now let's get back to this t-shirt rate and all this shit, because this is how we ended up even talking about this. Because
Are we getting the Pulse Nation boys up in here tonight?
probably not, bro. Probably not. I don't know.
Okay.
Probably not. We'll see. Uh, so t-shirt rate 29,150 hex. That started at 10,000 hex.
Mm.
Essentially, it's 2.9x more expensive to obtain a hex payout. Now, interestingly enough, when the T-share rate was at 10,000 hex, the payout was minuscule. You weren't getting a lot of hex
Mm-hmm.
per T-share during the payout. So you had to delay gratification in order to see anything from that scenario. So, as we moved forward in time, it became obvious how the system worked, right? I mean, if you were paying attention, right? Because what ends up happening is the value of a T-share in hex terms is perpetually more expensive, and that means it's always getting more
Only
expensive.
going up,
It's
right?
it's always going up. The value of a T-share is never going down
In terms of the token,
in
right?
terms of hex. So the T-share rate is perpetually going up, and the T-share rate is defined only by the hex, by the crypto, because the T-share price is the U.S. dollar value. So the price and the rate are two different things. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what's important to understand.
Equally important to take note of right now is a lot of you will remember how much a T-share cost a year and a half ago.
Right.
Look at that. I mean,
Right.
my God, that's a fire sale.
Right. And that's the point I'm gonna focus on. Right.
Okay.
Uh at one point a t-shirt was almost 9,000, almost $10,000 basically. And that's when it was like, I don't know, 26,000 packs of t-shirt. So let's assume, right? Uh let's assume this is the t-shirt rate right now. What would a t-shirt cost, right, at the all-time high given the new t-shirt rate? Because that's the question, right? That's the question. So let's find out. Woo! Shit. 30 50% more expensive, basically. More than 50%, about 55, 60% more expensive. All right, let's just do the math, because yeah. So
The math don't lie.
yeah, 60% more expensive, right? So 59.56% more expensive. This is what a T-share rate or T-share would cost today at the all-time high. 60% more than it did previously, right? And this is why you don't wait. And this is in dollar terms, right? So this is why you just do yourself the favor and understand the math, right? Because right now, what is the price of Hex? 0.004 cents. Well, T share is $116. It's telling you 110 over here, whatever the case is. I don't know the exact price. It doesn't matter. Point is made, right? This is a tool that is only 3 years old and nobody knows exists. And eventually, more and more people find out through time because of the way markets work, because of slipping through the crack of the gatekeepers, because of our efforts, because of all these different things that all equate to more and more people finding out about Hex with time. And understanding that nothing is going to happen overnight is imperative, because marketing gimmicks don't apply where they're not necessary. And people in this community have a hard time understanding that, and then they even have a harder time accepting it. And honestly, that's their problem, because if you don't want to understand what this game is about, then you are going to be the one to suffer the consequences of your inadequate actions.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody's always explained it. Anybody that's had a brain and is giving you the alpha has always explained it the right way. This is a scenario where you are best served by delaying gratification, period. And that's the way it's always been. Now, what we've seen over the past year and a half is a bunch of emotional selling. And that's a fact. That's not an opinion. If you don't know how to read a tape or a blockchain, then that's on you. But that's literally what you see when people are selling chunks of something at wholesale. Prices, period. That's a mathematical fact. You don't gotta like it, but that's what it is. So
Well, I'm sorry. I was under, the auspices that how I felt about all this was going to have a greater impact, sir.
I'm sorry to report that's not the case, sir. Not at all.
Oh, shit. Again, foiled.
Yeah.
So my internet girlfriend isn't real, and my feelings aren't going to impact these fucking markets. Great, man.
Check and check. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. People try to pretend that shit matters by making ridiculous statements like the T-share rate doesn't matter when I just shown.
Right. Well, look at what Brooks said in the chat. He said one T-share today, dollar at all-time high, 15K.
Right.
Yo.
Right. Correct. And that's what it's about. Understanding that type of math so that you don't get sidelined by markets that take off and never look back. I mean,
and that's going to happen.
well, yeah, and this is the thing, for everybody out there that's new to markets or crypto in general, you need to do yourself a favor. Stop relying on third parties, people like me, because I'm not like them, but I'm gonna tell you, you need to do some fucking work. You need to go look at these charts. You need to go see what long-term price action looks like. You need to go look at what is happening at the beginning of any market. Go look at a Macy's stock, go look at an Apple stock all the way back to 1969, 1970, whatever have you.
Mhm.
That's how you do the work to understand how things evolve over time. Because nothing moves the same, but it rhymes. Right? And if you're not
Yeah, yeah.
and if you're not out here understanding that this is just another fractal that's gonna play out, you're gonna just get left behind. And guess what? Nobody's gonna give a shit. Because
Two
we're here
things.
telling you the math and
Yeah,
giving you all the facts.
two things. If you want to get a visualizer on the nature of reality, I would suggest getting on one of those Mandelbrot set generators, my friends, and stare at that shit for a little while. I mean, reality is isometric, both on the timeline, and occurrence of things that are happening, as well as the cycle of these charts. Another thing I wanted to bring up real quick is I've noticed that a feature of any like worthwhile teacher is going to be what Wales just said to everybody. And I found this in spiritual hermetic Gnostic studies. I found this in divestment teachers all the way around. They all say the same thing that Wales just said, man. He says, verify on your own. Don't believe me. Don't start pushing me up to be your replacement hero. Okay, like that I'm supposed to occupy this space of your new Nietzschean like alpha like Superman. That's not how this shit works, man. Like a good teacher is going to say, these are the facts. I'm pointing you in the right direction, but by all means, you must, of your own volition, verify. Do your own research so that you can experience it in your heart and in your bones, man. And then you'll know it.
Yeah, as you were mentioning all that, I came to the sudden realization that I had before. And I'm just glad I never gave a fuck about school. Because, man, they got people's brains mushy.
Twist it up.
So mushy. People think somebody's supposed to just give them the answer or the process or whatever. Look, every teacher I've ever had sucked, man. They sucked. I could name you the teachers that I had that were good because it was that few.
Yeah.
That few. It's three dudes. That's it. Three dudes and maybe a female. I can't really remember the female, but whatever. It was decades ago. Who gives a fuck at this point? Point is, you got to put in the work, man. And that's just what it fucking boils down to. You don't like it, well, you're gonna suffer the consequences of that. That's just what it boils down to. It doesn't matter whether you believe me or not. Time will prove me right, like it always does. Simple as that.
What is it that Jason Brashears points out as the three key features of the coming epoch? Because we've been taught that this rote memorization
right
is going to be that shit, right? And what does he constantly tell us? He says, guys, it's intuition, it's imagination or creativity, and it's your empathy. Now, are any of those three things emphasized in any fucking way in Western academia?
Academia, no. Empathy, but towards the wrong things.
Yeah, more like pity. Pity and empathy are different things. But yeah, you're right.
They think it's empathy.
Right.
You gotta understand everything is inverted, right?
So that's crazy. Write it down, man. Everybody, intuition, imagination, empathy, man.
Like a lot of people, whatever, bro. Let's get into these t-shirt rates, man.
Okay, yes, sir.
Fuck all that. At the end of the day, the hand holding is over. You either learning or you getting left behind. I mean, I'm sorry. It's 2024 at this point. I'm done with the fucking simpleton explanations. Like, step up or get the fuck left behind. Consider this special ops. All right, that's where we're at. Nobody's here to hold your hand. You either want to be a part of the fucking squad or you don't. And if you don't, no hard feelings.
Bye-bye.
But bye-bye, because you don't get to hang out with the cool kids. Because we fly high over here. We don't fly low. And I've always been that way. So now I'm just going to make it clear cut that that's what it is. I've done a lot of helping and all of that. And I got hundreds of videos. You know, you don't know some shit, yo, go learn it. But we flying high, henceforth. You know, you want to learn? Ask questions. I will answer. But the hand holding is done. Like, we got to do better than this. I'm just tired.
That's axiomatic for the whale
Yeah.
stilo. I learned that myself, guys. He ain't going to give you the flow chart of the operation. What he is going to do is look at you like you're a grown man or a grown woman and see if you have any intelligent questions to ask. And that's, I mean, what is that? That's like the Socratic method, is it not, of teaching?
I guess so, yeah. I guess so. I really don't know. I just know it works.
Well, there you go.
That's how I had to learn.
There's that intuition again. If you're honest to your spirit, you're tapping into fucking ancient lineages of knowledge like I do that you weren't even aware existed. And that's within all of us. So bam.
Right, but motherfuckers just can't do math, bro. So we gotta take it one step at a time with these motherfuckers. You talking about some shit that's too far removed for people to even.
I know. Reel me back in, Dad.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah. Like I appreciate the enthusiasm, and we're gonna get there one day. But man,
all right,
get
you're
these
right.
Motherfuckers
You're
to
right.
do 1 + 1 first, bro. Like, damn.
Oh man, it's Friday night.
It's Friday night. Let's do 1 + 1, folks. I'm sorry, Ash Tree. We can't do that. What you can do is what Alan suggests. Google.com. Or this. I literally, true story, and Alan will verify. One time he asked me something. I can't remember what the fuck it was. But I literally sent them the Ethereum.org link. And I wasn't trying to be a smart ass or nothing.
You were trying to be a dickhead, right?
It's just that's what the answer was to this question. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's see?
It just shows like, you care.
That's just exactly. I went out on my way, found the link, sent him the information because that's what he wanted and he needed it.
He told me that before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now he don't got no questions. Now he got all the answers.
Oh my God, he's sharp as can be.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. Now he's on par. Because that's what people fail to realize. It's not about me. It's about you becoming me or better. That's my goal. I already know the shit I know. I can remain ignorant and still be all right. You, on the other hand, don't have that option. That's why you watching these streams. Very basic. I don't need to watch a damn thing. I don't. And I do not. I watch motherfuckers I'm cool with. That's where I'm at. I watch my homie streams. I don't need to watch nobody else's streams. Because what value are you actually offering to me? My time
I was going to say, you probably count the number of crypto content providers you watch on maybe one hand. It's like everything you're watching is outside of this ecosphere.
It has to be. It has to be. Because I'm not Richard Hart, but I'm providing Richard Hart quality content and information. I agree. It's not anything I'm not doing nothing different. I learned from the best. I wasn't streaming. He motivated me to stream. I decided.
Yeah, and you and he motivated me to get back on it, man. I went to school for TV and radio journalism for 16 minutes.
I mean, yeah, but that shit's fugazi, bro. Ain't no fucking.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying it got me used to being on a camera and hooking up a microphone and shit. And I wasn't doing anything after I got done with my music career, and it was being around you, in particular, that kind of lit a fire under my ass, man.
I mean, I guess it's about the information, though. It's not so much how it's relayed. I do this because it has to be done. I don't give a fuck if it's YouTube. If I knew more people would do a Twitter Spaces, I would do that. But I know more people will watch a stream or listen to a stream than a Twitter Space. I know it for a fact.
He's not my flavor. I don't like the way he talks to his audience. He's mean.
I don't even care about people like that. So shit like that is so relevant because those are the people, bro, that they're gonna get the death jab and be gone anyway. So it don't matter, bro. I'm dead ass. Like
I know you are. I know you are.
Those are the people that are jabbed up and aren't gonna be here in 10 years. So if we're lucky, you know what I'm saying? Because who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, These morons are doing us the favor. Simple. Yeah. So back to this math.
Yes.
When Hex first launched, let's assume the price was. Hold on. Let's assume the price is the same as it is now, right? And let's do a little bit of math, right? So let's say 10,000. Is that 10,000? Yeah. Yeah. So that's 10,000, right? So that's $40 per T-share. That's at this current price, right? This was at the beginning of the launch, right? So when we control Z all that, or go backwards, 116, right? So that's a 4x in terms of the T-share rate and the value. A 4x. So you can't pretend to think that you're smarter than time because you cannot be. And that's what a lot of people will literally pretend to claim that they are. They're smarter than time. And I'm here to tell you that that motherfucker is retarded. Nobody is smarter than time. Now let me show you again. $40, okay, at the start, at the same price versus 116 right now at the same hex price. Different T-share rate, same hex price. 4x difference. This is why you don't wait for the T-share rate, because now you have a few things working against you. Let's check them off the list. Number one is you missed all the yields by not being staked from 10,000 to 29,000 hex T-share rate increase. You now have to pay 4x more for that T-share. You just played yourself significantly, and you can never take that back. So those are three bad ways that you just disrespected your pocket. And now you're going to have to live with that. Because guess what? The fourth thing that I didn't tell you is that if you buy and stake now, then you really just said, I learned my lesson, but man, I was a dumbass for not being staked 4x ago. And that's okay, because at least from here on, you're earning every day. And the point is to understand that if you're not earning every day, what are you doing exactly? I mean, I remember when T-share prices were at all-time highs. You know, people were bragging about how much money they were making in a day. Now it's like it doesn't even matter. I mean, you should be bragging about how much hex you're making in a day, because everybody's hex bag grows exponentially with time. Because what happens is that as the value of a T-share goes up, as I just showed you, it has 4x from back then to now. What happens is that people get priced out with time, because time waits for no one. And that's something you really, really need to conceptualize, write it down, staple it, tattoo it.
Hey, a lot of these guys are on it because they're pointing out that once again you're streaming 12, not right now, 11 minutes before payout time.
Boom.
You tend to do that a lot.
I didn't realize that, but there you go.
Yeah.
Must be Mother
Turnover in
Nature.
10 minutes here.
Yeah, it must be Mother Nature trying to make a point. Why don't you want to get paid every day at this time? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
And I can't, and I will not. It just makes no sense. You pretend to want to make money, but yet nobody wants to make money. How the fuck does that work? I don't get that. Looks like we got a question here. Let's see. How do I think the T-shirt price will fluctuate between PLS and ETH? I've already talked about that. Yeah. So once people understand that ETH is really, people are gonna shy away from it just because of the cost of and staking. It's gonna end up being a higher yield chain
And because it's going to be a high yield chain, you're going to see higher t-shirt rate over time. That's what my guess is, even though right now, I'm pretty sure the pulse chain t-shirt rate is higher. But, we're just getting started. So you got to just give it some time. And that's just how it has to be. So we'll see. I could be wrong. It could be that maybe pulse chain has so much staking activity that ends up being the chain, because that's ultimately what determines the T rate changing. It's how much stakes are ending and how long they've been in the system. It's that combination, because that combination really ratchets the system, right? If it's a lot of stakes that are ending at the same time that are old, boy, you're gonna have a big change in that t-shirt rate, guaranteed. And so much so that we've seen a 4x increase since the beginning to now.
Were you guys all aware that today was day 1369? Magic number.
Sure is.
About to conclude. 1369.
Yep, sure is. Shows it right here. 1369. And here's the thing. All the numbers are nice, but if you don't understand the math, don't even worry about it, because it's just some meaningless shit to you. Thanks for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. Liquid holders are being diluted daily, yes, but they don't even understand that they're being diluted, and that's the problem. People that think that they're being smart holding liquid, you can hold liquid, a piece of it, sure, but at least 75% of your bag should be staked. I'm sorry, I don't.
They're just traders, really.
Well, that's the thing. You can trade all you want, man, but you gotta
I'm not
understand.
demonizing trading. I'm just saying those
I'm a
guys are
trader,
pretty
but I don't trade
exclusively.
crypto. I don't trade crypto. This is not the shit to be trading, and that's the thing that people do not understand. They're making a grave error in trading here. There's better, more liquid markets that allow you to make 10x's. Crypto ain't the one.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, I heard somebody else I respect saying that his Fibonacci's that he used on traditional legacy markets, they don't even apply in crypto, man.
No, they don't. They can't, because it's too novice. It's too novice dependent. People.
That reminds me of what sucks about poker, man. That's very observation right there.
Yeah, you can't just play with anybody, because you're not.
No, if you study your ass off and sit down at a table with donks and fish, they're gonna play so stupid. They're gonna wreck up your mean, man. They're not
gonna play stupid. They're gonna play innocently,
ignorantly, and they're gonna suck out on you and fuck it up. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but
that's the nature of the beast, though.
Right.
And that's the point. Right? That's the point. Thanks for the super chat, Crypto in the Bull. The risk reward for a 13 to 15 year stakes is crazy right now, even for $100 at a hex value of only 8. Could literally turn that into 160K. Yeah, and that's the thing. People don't think long term in general. And that's the downfall for most people, This is what was my downfall, because I knew about Bitcoin in 2009. You don't hear me talking about being a Bitcoin billionaire, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you wouldn't know who the fuck I am, but that's beside the point. The point being made here is there's a reason you know who I am. Write that reason down. And that reason is because I did not have long-term vision. And if you fail to adopt that reality, you will fail to succeed. That is a fact, not an opinion. So let's do a little bit more math, and then hopefully that's enough for you guys to get it, because I don't even know anymore sometimes. It's a little demoralizing sometimes, It's not like this is high school math. Like, you don't got to be here. Why are you tuning in if you really don't want to learn? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was going to make the observation. It feels exceptionally altruistic and kind of you to do this all again with us, man.
Yeah, it's like, why am I doing this again? Like, do we really?
I can hear in your voice, man. You're thinking about 5 other things you'd want to do right now.
Yeah, bro. I've had a pretty good day today. Let me just say, this is really a speed bump, but it got to be.
Oh my god!
Like, and no disrespect, but goddamn, folks, like you can't go to an old stream and rewatch.
Oh,
Like, clearly not, because the motherfuckers ain't doing it. And yeah, of course, we got the group of people that are clearly educated, and I'm not talking to them. We talking to the people that we know are not staked, or that we know they're lying about being staked, because you can tell by how they talk about it, by how they talk about Hex and how they talk about their backs. You can tell. People think that they can, lie and get away with it, but no, you can't. People know, especially people like me that have spent their lives just reading other people. Because when you grow up in a combat zone, that's what you got to do to survive. You got to learn how to read other people. If not, you could make a ill move, and that's the shit you can't do out here. Because nobody cares, man. And that's why you need to learn for yourself. And if you don't learn from me or anybody else, time will do the job. You trust me, because time sure as hell did it on me. And it wasn't cute either. It was very brutal. So thank you again for the super chat, Crypto Winter Boy. Yeah, it's no joke, man. It's no joke. Let's see what we're talking about, SJ, and shout out to you. Not sure if you've spoken on this recently or if this is a good stream to ask, but someone asked me today about PLS prediction this coming bowl. I don't do predictions.
I was going to say, I know what Wills would say.
So I would say, shove it up your ass, because it doesn't matter. Right? Like, why doesn't it matter? Well, for one, the price of Pulse Chain is what, like 80%, 90% below the SAC rate? Some dumbass shit like that. Let me see. Where are you? Hold on, liquidity. Okay, so PLSX right now is 90% below SAC rate. PLSX, PLS is 60% below the SAC rate, 62%. So the thing you got to understand is that, how does crypto move? I think people really are so short-term focused that they dismiss the fact that 60% is nothing, 90% is nothing, 99% is nothing in crypto.
That's not why I'm around here, man. I ain't around here for that.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is never mind that, right? Like, let's dismiss what we're here for just for 1 second, and let's focus on the math, on just the very simplistic, on the surface math. Now, if we're talking in X's, why do you give a fuck about being down 1x? Explain that to me, please, somebody.
Goddamn.
Because this is what I've been hearing for 4 fucking years, and really almost 2 years right now. So, let's give it the bull, right? Let's give it from the top to now, right? Why are you sweating something that we talk about and nothing but X's about, but you sweating being down 99%? Do you not understand what this is?
And it proves what the root and basis of the understanding and belief was at the outset. When that's all the motivation it takes. I can believe, but by the same token, I cannot believe what it has taken to turn some people around up in this motherfucker. It blows me away. It's disgusting is what it is, because I've seen grown men pull on cheerleaders' uniforms, little mini skirt with pom-poms in magenta and orange and yellow. I'm a Hexican. And then the second the wind kicks up to like 3.5 miles an hour, they drop in their panties and running. It's just, and not only that, but making loud public statements as they do so. Fuck Hex, fuck Richard Hart. That shit hurt my feelings and let me down.
Right. Yeah, hurt my.
All right, where you going for your yield, Big Dad?
Yeah, it's interesting how emotional people get over things that they shouldn't be getting emotional about. Right. And this is the problem with forecasts and stuff like that. I still get people still talking shit to me about the $10 call, and they never ever talk about nothing that I said before $10 or nothing that I said
No, because
after
they
that.
were waiting in the shadows. They were waiting. They said, I don't like the way his attitude. I don't like the way he talks. I'm going to get him on something someday.
Right.
Oh, there it is. Meanwhile, the redheaded boy who draws the line on the charts, he must have said $30 or $40. That guy who pretends he's a Marvel cartoon character, he said $27 EOY. Nobody be bringing that shit up ever.
Not at all. Don't matter because they're never really right about shit. So don't matter. Nobody's looking at them.
I look
You know
inside
what I'm
eyed.
Oh man, this is a funny comment. Yeah, that Max Kaiser guy is a schmuck.
Yeah, but he gets the best cocaine, man.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does, man.
Well, and the answer to everything is Bitcoin. It's going to be $500,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, and this is the logical thing, right? And this is, and SJ, this is the thing people don't understand. Somebody tried to like question the log base 2 thing, and it, it just they don't understand. It's the code, it's hex, not the price. People don't get that. It's the return streams show the characteristics of log base 2 because of the code design and the inherent log base 2 in the code and how it functions and how the t-share rate increases over that over that trajectory over time. That was one of the first charts that I showed. I don't even make that chart no more, so play it out. I'm tired of looking at it. Just look at the log base 2 curve. That's all you got to do because that's exactly what's going to happen with Hex over time. And people just...
You just dropped pure fucking science right there, dude. Oh, man.
Yeah, well, you got to know what a log base 2 chart looks like. And for those that don't know, look at the avatar on the YouTube thing, the thumbnail. There you go. Look at the thumbnail for this YouTube stream. That's a good example of a log base 2 chart right there. And in short, log base 2 works like this. The longer you wait, the more doubles you get. Simple. Now, the fact that we're back at this same price as we were in 2020 is just an opportunity. And people...
I had that on a t-shirt for the longest time. I bought my first bag of Hex at 0.8 of a penny. I threw that motherfucker in the trash last week, dude.
Right. Yeah. Don't matter no more. This is below from where I got in. So don't feel no type of way. Like we've seen prices that I didn't even think we were going to see ever again. Because again, it's all emotional selling. What has changed for Hex?
Well, the thing that I hear frequently out in the street is that people seem to, I don't want to say lack faith. That's not the way to capture what it is. They seem not to believe. They think that the day is coming where they're going to wake up and there's no way that Hex is going to recapture that USD value, if that makes any sense. Yeah. I mean, somehow magically Satoshi's vision has remained, and still has value.
Well, this is the thing people need to understand. This is why utility is relevant. There's a reason people in XRP and XLM are still holding on for dear life.
ISO 2022 is why those motherfuckers are holding on for dear life. They just made a deal with the devil.
Well, they're still holding on for dear life. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, they've not achieved any gains from their long time of holding. And that's my point. Very few coins have actually achieved any X's to the type that we're looking for. And those coins serve a specific function. It's not every fucking coin. So everybody's sitting out here pretending like it is every coin. Nah, that's a lie. Like they gotta be co-signed, they gotta be co-signed off on and be a part of the crew. Gotta be. Look at all the coins that have actually. Look at all the chains that are EVMs like ETH. They're all the same.
They're all garbage, man. They're all garbage.
They're all the same. It don't matter what kind of garbage they are. They're all the same. They all do the same exact crap. They might have a thing or two that's different, but whatever. They're all ultimately the same. So let's talk about this post-game projection bullshit. This is the same thing I said about Hex with relation to Bitcoin. It's going to do the same thing, and that's what we already see it doing. That's why they're correlated to a certain extent. I had a chart that showed how correlated they were to a certain point, and then how it broke off.
Yes, you did. Clearly, you did that on my stream. You showed how clearly that for a time they were completely decoupled.
Right, but the thing about it is the why, right? And the why is the cost of production of that hex. Because hex and Bitcoin are exactly the same. The only difference is that in hex, the new hex comes from people staking, whereas in Bitcoin, some company could just buy a fucking miner and make all the Bitcoin they want. And people don't understand that. They don't want to understand it. They want to believe the lies and shit. And that's okay. Do whatever you want. Time will prove those that do analysis right. Always. That's just how it goes. So when you're thinking about these projections, you got to think about what does the market actually care about long term. It's not about a meme. That's just for now. Like that's not forever. It just doesn't matter what you want to think or believe. That's just what's true. Serious, what's true. What do I think about HSI stake text? There's nothing to think. As long as that protocol works, you're good. I'm not sure what the question is exactly there. But yeah, it's the same as X. I don't know. As long as you can transfer it, you should be fine. Otherwise, I don't. You should have just staked the shit native. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're getting Hedron from it. You're getting Hedron actually out of the way, but you can get an advance when you do an HSI. That's the difference. Excuse me. But that's the difference. So it's up to you what you prefer. I prefer native stakes. That's just me. I don't plan to be slinging shit around. I'll go buy HSI though. So it just depends what your preference is. Let's see. Who the fuck is this? Okay, I don't know who you talking about. Thanks for the super chat, bro. I like to think of staking as a value wedge. Yeah, that's really what it is. Because what you're doing is you're saying at this point in time, I'm picking up this cheap T-share versus waiting until 4x later to then have 100,000 or 100,000. The impact of staking 100,000 hex at 29,150 hex now versus then. I mean, it's not comparable.
Mm-hmm.
The number of T-shares you were picking up was freaking crazy. Like, you just lying to yourself by pretending that you were doing better. You were picking up 40 T-shares, not 10. Like, all these lies people are out here spreading is crazy. Like, stop believing the lies.
Don't
Do
believe the
the
hype.
math and stop believing the lies. Because for every day that passes that you let the T-share rate tick higher, you're getting less T-shares, which means you're getting less payout over time. That's a fact, not an opinion. Just because you don't like how I'm saying it is your problem.
Mm-hmm.
The math is not changing. Because guess what? You see this here? Down here at the bottom? Look at this here at the bottom. I'm going to read this at the bottom for you. Hex earnings are based on the average daily payout of 6.5 hex per T-share with an inflation rate of 3.6. Oops. What the hell? Sorry, guys.
Here comes Deck Screener.
Let me close this BS. I dragged the page here by mistake.
It happens.
Yeah, it does. I don't even know what the fuck I did.
A lot of good people in this chat. What up, y'all?
Get out of here. What is this? I gotta refresh. All right. So reading again, Hex earnings are based on the average daily payout of 6.5 Hex per t-shirt with an inflation rate of 3.69% compounded annually. USD earnings are based on the token reaching a price of that price that's there, which is just the same price that is at today. So what's important to understand from this statement? That the only things that change are the average daily payout, because that increases over time, and the US dollar value of Hex, because that is going to be dependent on the market, not on the code.
And
So
that first one is affected by the EES actions pulled by people as well, correct?
yeah, but the important thing to understand is that this is systemic. This is coming from the system.
Yeah,
It's
right. It's
it's,
written in. It's baked in.
it's written in. It's constant. Period. That's what
Yes, sir.
matters. Nothing else. Because people need to understand that. People need to understand that they're DCAing every fucking day, regardless when they're staking Hex. That's what matters. Every
I like
day.
that vantage. I like that vantage right there, man.
Yeah, well, apparently people don't like getting paid every day. I don't know. Because it's crazy to me. But you
Think
would think.
about that. Figure that into your averages, though, guys. I mean, that's sick.
I mean, I just don't understand why people can't sit down and learn something that's going to benefit them in a significant way, because that's what it boils down to. There's tons of people that have retired off of this thing. Retired.
Yeah, and moreover, they've even protected the future and the future of their loved ones and their
Sure.
progeny.
I think that's why they can retire. I don't think they would be retiring otherwise, but
Right.
my
Yeah,
assumption, I don't know.
you're
But,
right. You're right.
I'm just saying, it's important to understand that this is paying you extra crypto, which is a fiat multiplier every day. Fiat does not make multiples of crypto. Fiat only gets you a fixed amount of crypto. But a crypto itself multiplies fiat, because the crypto itself can gain in value significantly versus the fiat. That's the nature of the game.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, even though we're talking about the same price that we're seeing right now, what are we seeing? Excuse me. What are we seeing in terms of the ROIs? They're higher in USD value, because with time, what's a guarantee? For the US dollar to go lower. And that's what this means. The fact that these two numbers, right? Like, we're looking at ROI right now. Stick with me, because this is some special ops shit when it comes to math, right? Like, you got to understand the relation between both of these values and why they're different. Why is this triple digit value lower than this triple digit value? There's a very important reason for that, and that's exactly why crypto exists. Because this side of the ledger is not dependable. It's unreliable. It's always going to go down in value. So while the number is greater, that's actually a loss of value. And that's the thing that people do not get. It's not intuitive. It's not in your face obvious. But that is what's true, because what this is saying is that over this span of time, we have the stake starting at the same price, but yet it's ending at the same price. But somehow you have more of these units of account. But what actually happened is that the system paid you out in more crypto. That's what actually happened. But that fiat didn't sustain its value. It didn't. So what happened is that fiat value is actually the same. Over time, if that fiat value has sustained itself, it would go lower, because things would become cheaper with time, not more expensive. If we're speaking from a purely advantageous standpoint, and that doesn't make sense to us because we don't experience that. We cannot grasp that. But if you look at the way technology functions, everything should be cheaper, not more expensive, but yet we pay more for everything. But yet everybody makes more, but you pay more. That's why.
Mm.
It's not because things are better. It's not
Mhm.
because that's just the way they are. It's because you're getting scammed into paying more. You don't understand the math. That's what's really going on. And hey, it was a stark realization for me because I'm this kid trying to learn this finance game and I'm trying to be good at it. Right? Like I'm trying to be smart and I think people need to understand that. These are things that we learn as we traverse things that we don't expect to learn,
Mm.
right? Because I didn't anticipate going against the system that I was trying to become successful in. And I think a lot of people don't really take that into account. Thank you for the super chat again, man. Most people cannot fathom the fact that they could be well off in the future. This is true in the
Mhm.
future.
Well,
It's a
most people can't
figment of
even
their
fathom a
imagination.
future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, this is true. It's all about your mindset. And, sir, I 100% agree with you because that's something that I try to relate to people all the time because I know it's true because that's how
Mhm.
I changed my life to the point where, I just see myself completely different. And, other people, they still stuck in the same
Well, I'm still
same lane.
working through it. I'm a real time example of somebody for all my gifts and all my knowledge and education. I'm still working through that
But everybody
programming.
is. That's the thing. And
Yeah.
everybody is at a certain point, and most people aren't even at the point where they're working on it. That's the thing that people don't understand. And this is the thing that people that are working on it discount about themselves. Fuck everybody else because they don't matter. Everybody else isn't even fucking trying. So if you're fucking trying, suck it the fuck up and try harder because at least you're helping yourself. Everybody
Yeah.
else is out here waiting for a fucking handout, and guess what? It ain't never coming. It ain't never
Mm.
coming. It's just not.
Mm.
Hard to say. It'll really depend on, I think, ease of access, and the fact that eHex is easier to access might make it more expensive in the long run. Because ultimately, people do want to be on Pulse Chain. They don't want to be on ETH just because of the cost to transact. However, the value in long stake making over there is significant because the simple fact of the matter is that if these clowns continue or want to perpetuate ETH chain to be their chain, well,
Mhm.
they got to make it usable for motherfuckers, and nobody's gonna fucking use it if it costs $20. So everybody's gonna go to Pulse Chain anyway, and ETH is gonna be cheap anyway. So pick one. Don't fucking matter. You just gotta think. You really gotta learn. People really gotta learn how to think out in game theory terms. Like this is the real world. In the real world, nothing is linear. And if you are an adult and you think shit is linear, good luck to you because you're not going to make it. Doesn't matter what you are, who you think you are,
Mm.
something's going to find you, line you up, drop kick your motherfucking ass in the teeth, and knock them out. Because it
Mm.
happens to all of us.
Mm.
Period. I'm not telling you nothing that's not for your own good because guess what? You're not paying to listen to me. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm just giving them my time.
Never have been. None of us.
Right. So, people need to understand that. Yeah, and this is the thing. People just don't remember what that price rise was like. 2 years ago, I would have never thought Hex would dip this low. I'm buying back in as much as I can. Hell, I don't know how many times I said we ain't never seeing these prices again. Yet here we are. And the question is how and why? Well, it's simple. Emotional selling. When people are selling beyond the rationale, with no rationale behind their action, congratulations on people getting paid.
Yeah, and TYRH once again, man, because I've gone through some desperate times and I've had to do some things I didn't want to do. But one thing I ain't doing is I ain't EESing, and
Yeah,
I
you can't do
cannot
that.
touch. I cannot touch them fucking stakes, and
Yeah,
there's a
you
lot
can't
of
do
them.
it. You can't do it. You cannot. You got to forget them. That's the whole point.
Set
That's
it,
the whole
set them and
point.
forget them. Set them
Yeah,
and forget them.
that's the whole point, man. The
And,
whole
and thank you,
point.
Richard Hart, for that, man. I will
Yeah, the whole
always be
point is
indebted for
to
that.
is to get paid, man, not to fucking twiddle your thumbs and maybe get a few X's. Like, I don't know. Like, yo, look, there is speculation and then there is wealth generation. You know, you really got to know the difference between the two. You know, and if you don't, you're going to be bound and subject to somebody else's whim. This is why we have to talk about these Hex basics. You know, understand the T-share rate. Understand why longer pays better. Understand why now is an opportunity that you're not going to see again. I mean, I highly doubt we're going to see these price levels again because, man, it takes a whole lot of selling to get down even further from here. And the people that are selling are buying. They're not really old Hex bag. That's one thing I've noticed recently. You got recent buyers that are selling a lot. So, you know, you got to really pay attention to these things and understand what your long-term game plan is. And don't let the T-share rate price you out because, folks, it will. I just showed you a 4X price out.
Shout out to Crispy at hexfire.io, man. He's been providing some really great.
I mean, people need to go to his site and learn the shit. You know, giving them a shout out ain't doing nobody no favors. Unfortunately, they really need to go to hexfire.io and fucking breathe the information on that site. Learn what the T-shirt rate is. Why is it always going up? Because it's only going up. It's never going down. And these are basic things about Hex that if you're here, you should know. Simple. So, Darby, you got any last words, brother? Lay them out, and I'm done.
TGIF, like a motherfucker.
Right.
I'm just thankful that you're my brother, my friend, and I want to thank you for having an open mind where I could teach you, and I want to thank you for teaching me, man. I every single time I'm fucking around you, you give me something new. It's beneficial.
Well, that's all we can hope from life, man. Just try to do things that are beneficial to us so that we're not sucking wind. Because guess what? That shit sucks. And yeah, man, with that, I'ma holla at y'all. Do the math. Stop trying to take shorts because you're gonna get left with half.
Done told ya!
Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. That's it. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Yash deep, everybody.